Welcome to the Starboard Podcast, where we're talking everything in the world of windsurfing. Through this series, we're going to meet the dream team riders for Starboard and talk about everything from boards, pro series, competitions and events, coaching, tips and technique, and basically everything cool that's happening on the water right now, all around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Starboard Podcast. Once again, here today from Vassiliki, where I'm sitting just now with someone I've been super excited to chat to for the last few days. Probably the biggest name in windsurfing across the whole planet for, about the last 20 years or so. I'm really excited that we've got with us today Sarah Quita. Hi.
Hey, good morning, Cookie. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thanks for coming and joining us. We're honored to have you here today. Where are we talking to you from? Whereabouts are you?
I'm visiting in Norway at the moment, and I'm basically just getting ready for the summer leg of the tour in the Canary Islands. So I left Aruba a few days ago with all of my stuff because I'm going to be traveling for the next 3.5 months, I guess. So, yeah.
Nice. And that's kind of a good way to start, actually, because all of your stuff, you're probably the most diverse, competitive, professional windsurfer out there. Like, you compete in every discipline going. So all of your stuff is a lot, I imagine.
Yeah, I have quite some gear with me. It's quite a logistical problem plan. I don't know. I have to plan a lot. I have a bit of my stuff in Aruba, but I have a storage in Amsterdam where I have like wave freestyle slalom kit. And depending on what contest I need to go to or wherever I'm going to train, I switch my kit and then take that with me. But having said that, I end up taking a lot with me as well. So.
Yeah, of course. You know, a lot of people getting into the sport and they just kind of go like, what shall I buy? And you're like, oh, a board, a sail, a mast. But when you say like a lot of kit, how much do you travel with? Let's just use an easy example. Let's just say a freestyle event. How much stuff do you travel with?
Yeah, so if I would go for a freestyle event, like for example in Fuerteventura, I will take 2 freestyle boards with me and 3 sails. So I only sail my 93 mostly. It's a windy spot, so I take a spare 93, so that's 2 boards. Then I'll have a 4044 and 48, and maybe a spare 44 or something. So that's in 4 sails, 2 boards. I'll have 3 or 4 masts with me and 2 booms, and that'll turn out into 3 heavy board bags, I would say. But that's if I go like fully prepared. And then the thing is that it's never just the freestyle event, because if I go to the Canaries now, I need to plan for the wave sailing event as well, and there's going to be slalom this year. So in the past, I've traveled to the Canary Islands with 6 pretty heavy board bags. So it can get a lot.
It's not easy traveling anyway, even with one set of kit, like moving around, 1 board bag and 1 quiver bag. When you're traveling with 6, you've got a crew of people trying to help you out, and then trucks or transport in the right place, and it's not easy, is it?
Yeah, well, the thing is, you end up doing a lot by yourself, and you get so many comments from people thrown at you at the airport. Some places are interesting and funny. Like if you're in the United States, people are always very helpful and they're interested in what you're doing. Whereas in Holland or Schiphol, where I'm at a lot, the Dutch people are very sarcastic and they tend to like throw jokes like, is that your mother-in-law, or what are you carrying in there, like dead bodies and stuff like that. And I have to like contain myself to not make a bad joke towards them, so I just tend to like walk straight and towards my goal. But it's an experience everywhere. It's always different. It's always better when you're traveling together with someone. I travel with Uda a lot, and then when we're carrying the load together, it's also more fun, and then it's easier to crack jokes with people.
Yeah, I do quite like the airport trolleys. Some of them have got locked back wheels and they don't go sideways. So your board bag that's 2.5 meters long and it doesn't go sideways through the doors. That's always quite interesting when people don't realize quite how big you are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a trick for that one, right? You can just lift up the back and then you can go sideways anyway.
Yeah.
I catch the immigration officers every time in Holland. They're like, that's never gonna fit. And I look at them and like lift it up, and the husband's like, it fits.
Yeah.
So it's a few tricks that you need to learn, tricks of the trade.
Yeah, that's it. And packing light is almost impossible when you're traveling that stuff, but you're right, just the way you pack stuff to keep it protected through the airlines and that kind of stuff too. it's a lot of learning through mistakes. I've definitely been. You must have had some mistakes in packing that have resulted in broken gear over the years.
Yeah, I've had broken gear over the years for sure. Like slowly you get better at it.
Yeah.
Towels and harnesses to cover and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So you're in, where do you say? You're in Holland just now. No, sorry, you're in Norway just now. What's the next event is it you're heading to?
I've been invited to the King of the Bay in Poland. I think the spot is called Rewa. And it's an event that Maciek's been organizing. It's very similar to the event that I just did in Aruba now, the Aruba High Winds. I think it's just like a culmination of wind and water sports. And this one is focused around long distance racing, like the Defi, I guess. So it's cool. kiting, windsurfing, winging, and then they have like tow-in shows and a bunch of brands that will have their stands there. So for me, it's always exciting to go to a new place and meet passionate windsurfers, I would say, because I love competing and everything, but I think the events that give me the most satisfaction or the people are like the true windsurfers that are like, I mean, people in Europe or in cold places, I feel like they're real windsurfers, because it's very hard to get me in cold water in a wetsuit, and these people, they go out in November, December when it's like less than 5 or less than 10 degrees, and they're still out there, you know. So these are the people that are truly passionate about the sport, and I feel like it's always such a pleasure to meet them. So I'm excited to head over there and see what Poland's got. So
this is your first time at the King of the Bay this year?
Yeah, I think it might be I don't know if it's the first time they organize the event. I think it is.
Cool.
I have actually been to Poland before. I think it was 2014. We had the indoor event, and that was in Warsaw, and that already was amazing, meeting the people there. But I think I think the spot is called, Justina Shinari, she told me the spot is called Hell. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So it's already,
it's already scary then.
It's already a very interesting name, and I've got so many nice messages from people that are looking forward to having me there. So I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Sure. Yeah.
You compete in all the disciplines, freestyle, wave, and slalom. What do you have a preference? If you could pick one, could you, or have you got you just like the mix?
Yeah, I think I love the mix of windsurfing. That's in essence what I enjoy about windsurfing, is just the diversity of it. I started out freestyling because that's all I saw. That's all we did in Aruba. And then, as I mentioned, the Aruba High Winds, I've competed there a lot, and there naturally you also race. So freestyling and racing is kind of what I did from the beginning. And as I went onto the PWA tour, I excelled at the freestyle, and then I was at some competitions where the races were also at. I was like, you know what, I want to challenge myself in that as well. So then I started racing, and like gradually learning more and more. And then eventually, I feel like, so because I won the titles in freestyle, won the titles in slalom, and then I wanted to keep on challenging myself, and then moved into wave sailing. And that's like an ongoing challenge. I have won the title a couple of times now, but I feel like in wave sailing there's so much more to learn for me, and that's in the end what I love from windsurfing, is that it's never ending, and like all I want to be like the best windsurfer I can be in that I can be, and then I want to be like thrown in any conditions and still be having fun, you know. So that's, I think, my ultimate goal in windsurfing. It just gets a bit boring to do the same thing all the time. And if I think about it for myself, like what I love freestyling, like that's my first love, and I will always love that. But for competition, I think slalom and racing is the best thing ever. Like you're on the line with 8 other competitors.
It's close, isn't it? Yeah.
It's such an adrenaline rush, and I think for me, in competition wise, that is the best, hands down. And then wave sailing is such a I don't know, it's like art, you know, like you just go out there, you can draw different lines on the waves. It's never going to be the same. So like, I just need the combination of all three, I would say.
Yeah, I like that. We do a few races here. Like we don't host any big events of Vassiliki as such anymore, but we do some fun bay racing. And as much as anyone says, I'm not competitive, as soon as you have a rabbit start comes past you, the boat drives upwind and everyone starts going at the same time, everyone just starts to get the buzz and gets really into it. And that slight competitive side is just magnified, isn't it? It's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so much fun, that, And especially at events like that, I think it's still about having fun. So it adds to the excitement of the moment, I think.
Yeah. And actually, you said it really nicely that like people perform best in the competitions when they're enjoying it and when they're having fun. I had a good chat with Federico and Mauricio a few days ago, and he was the same thing. Like, if you can take the stress out of your competing and try and make it fun, suddenly the whole thing becomes alive, and you windsurf to your best, and you perform better in not just windsurfing, in any sport. I think that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think for me, the core part of that is that windsurfing is something really fun to do. You know, as a kid, I swam competitively, for example, and swimming is fun, but in the end, you're in a pool, you're staring at a line, and you're just doing laps. Whereas windsurfing is already fun. So I've had to remind myself a couple of years ago that I do love this sport because I love it, and then I try to bring that fun into competition as well.
How do you deal with it? Like, it's got to be stressful. You've done this for a long time. You've won the biggest events on the planet, but still, every time you enter an event, there's got to be some stress and nerves going on. How do you combat that? How do you keep the fun going and put the stress to one side?
Yeah, I think I dealt with that a few years ago, actually, because in the beginning it was all kind of fun and games, because I was very young when I started the tour. I was maybe 14, 15, and then you're just up and coming and kind of the underdog, so you don't have that pressure. You have like this goal to work towards. And that, I feel like that's like the fun part. At some point, I kind of established myself and I became the person to beat, especially in freestyle. And that's when the stress or the pressure started to come, because I feel like I needed to perform, or I didn't want to lose. And there was one specific year where I was about to win like my 10th freestyle world title. And I know that the crowd and the people there, they love me, but they want to see someone else beat me, And I had to process that it was nothing against me, that it's just, it's part of sports. They want to see the underdog beat the best one. So I think I came off the water after this final heat against Mike, and I was just crying because it was like so much pressure. And I did end up winning the title that year, but I didn't enjoy that competition. It was actually horrible. So I think after that event, I told myself, like, if I need to start enjoying myself. If I don't, then I need to quit competing, because it's no fun competing like that.
Yeah.
And I think that must have been about 2017. And I feel like since then I've been able to, relax more and kind of tap into those like first years of competing and competition, of just like being out there, having fun, competing with the best in the world. And I think I still carry that with me now. Like, I want to win, of course, but I will not. If someone beats me and they're just better, then they're better. I'll just have to do better next time. And
learn from what they're doing. If someone else is doing something amazing. It's that sort of sport that's going to keep evolving, and we keep watching the next level coming through. It's insane.
Yeah, and that's really exciting. And I feel like if someone else does better, that will make me a better windsurfer as well. So yeah.
And I mean, using freestyle as an example, you've been competing for 20 years in the freestyle events, and you've seen 20 years of evolution of the sport, going from nearly 20 years ago, a Spock, like a jumping 360 move, would have won the competition. And now that's nothing, that needs to be blended into doubles and triples and bigger explosive moves. Who knows what the next 10 years is going to bring with the evolution, the way it's going in the sport.
Yeah, that is super exciting to watch for sure. And if I would look at my first world title that I won in 2008 compared to last year, I was world champion then, but I'm like 10 times better now than I was in 2008. So that's really exciting to realize. And the same for the men. Like, when you see how far they've brought the level, it's insane. So I hope that we can keep inspiring the youth to like get more into freestyle and keep pushing the level. If you watch, for example, I don't know if you've chatted to him yet, but like Leonard, he's
on the schedule for the next few days. I'm looking forward to him. Yeah,
I think he's about to turn 20. Yeah, I think he's 20 at this point. But last year he was vice world champion, and I kind of compare him to Goyito Estredo, because I think Goyo won his title when he was 17 or 18. But the level that Leonard has now is just ridiculous, compared to when Goyito won the title at that age. So it's really, really cool to see the improvement in the sport and how far we've got.
Big time. I think he's traveling today or tomorrow. He's on his way to an event, I think the EPF tour or something. And when he gets there, we're going to have a chat through the event and how it works from the event in the day before. So I'm quite looking forward to chatting to him. Yeah, that'll be, excuse me, that'll be very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a nice time.
With your mixture of disciplines, did you ever have anything to do with the Supercross back in the day? The Supercross event?
I was too young.
It was about when I started windsurfing too.
You started windsurfing when?
About the same time as you did. I just didn't learn as quickly as you did. Still nothing, like 20 years ago, yeah. But I remember looking at it going, this is insane. Now, can you just describe what Supercross is for anyone that's not heard of it?
Yeah, so Supercross was a racing discipline with obstacles, basically. So I think it wasn't racing gear or freestyle, it was just free ride gear, I would say, with longer fins. And basically they had a start like a racing start. They'd have to jump over a buoy. Yeah. Duck jibe around them. Yeah. Then duck jibe around the mark, do a spock on the first leg. I think they had to duck jibe around all the marks.
Yeah, I think so.
And then do a forward loop on a leg. And yeah, so every run had a attribute or something. Yeah, a move that they had to do. I think I witnessed one event, I think in Lanzarote, but I must have been 14. And from what I recall, they didn't allow me to compete because I was too young. I don't remember what happened, or maybe my parents decided against it. But I couldn't compete, and I just watched it, and I thought it was very cool. But the year after that was cancelled, and they stopped it.
And they stopped it, yeah. Now, you've got your finger on the pulse with events going on. There's whispers amongst the community that it might be coming back. What have you heard?
Yeah, so I have been on the windsurfing, on the PWA management board as well. So I was in the middle of those talks. What's coming is Slalom X, and people are confusing it with Super X. It's not the same thing. Maybe it's not the best name that was chosen for it. It's similar in with regard to having certain attributes added to the race, but it's not the same as Supercross. So basically with Slalom X, it's slalom racing, but we can add different obstacles if we wanted to, but we don't have to. So we're looking at maybe adding a jump or adding chicane, they call it. So like a really short, like jibing course. Yeah. What else? Beach starts, all that kind of stuff can be added depending on the location.
Okay, back to beach starts was quite a fun way of starting the race, wasn't it? That was one of the Supercross.
I think it was cool. Yeah, so the idea of it is just to bring back like this excitement to racing, where just like, I don't know, when they were doing slalom races in Hokipa in the waves and stuff like that, like I wasn't around to see that, but people are still talking about how exciting that was. So they kind of want to bring the excitement back to slalom. We'll just have to see this summer how that pans out and how that works out with the gear and the competitors that we have now and see what's possible. But it's just to keep that discipline open and bring that excitement back.
Yeah. And actually, like, the cool thing about bringing the excitement is it doesn't have to be at professional level. Like where you and I both do a lot of coaching. I want to talk to you a moment about the Windsurf University with Oda. But like coaching, even beginners, I do some sort of a Supercross style event where, you know, there's a couple of marks and between certain runs, you need to do this and you need to do that. And you just tailor the challenge accordingly for the level we're coaching or the windsurfers we're with. So if it is a forward loop, fine. Okay, that's the high level stuff, or jumping over something, that's high. It could just be a leg drag or a sail 360 or sail with one hand for 3 seconds, just something. But it brings that excitement and the fun to beginners or low intermediates, as well as this is what Supercross was and this is the hype that we used to see.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun, actually. I want to join.
Vassiliki, all summer. Come and hang.
Yeah, awesome.
Tell me about Windsurf University then.
I started Windsurfing University together with Uda, basically in COVID times, because I had done some clinics as well. Uda has done more of them. But at some point we were like, we kind of want to share this windsurfing knowledge with people, but we couldn't travel out. So we were like, how else can we do that? So we said, we can do online coaching. And that's kind of where Windsurf University started from. So we're doing online coaching, teaching people via videos and stuff. And then eventually it grew out into actually doing what we're doing more now is the actual physical camps. And we just call it Windsurf University because we thought it was a cool idea to have like windsurf professors and students. So the biggest camps we're having now are in Karpathos. This year we're going to have 3 in a row. And I think all three of them are full, and we try to keep it between 12 and 14 participants so that we can give everyone full attention. And yeah, it's something super satisfying to do. I think with the competing and training myself, it's like almost a little bit selfish, but when you're coaching someone at the end of a camp, there's so much satisfaction. Like the people are very happy, they learn something new. And yeah, for me also, I really enjoy to see people excited. And the thing is that, you can have people that have been windsurfing for 20 years and they're still struggling to get in the foot straps or still struggling to get the planing jibe or even attack. And just doing one course like this, you have someone else giving you input and you just show them a video of what they're doing, for example, and all of a sudden it clicks and they realize what they're doing wrong or how they can do it better. And within a day, there's huge improvement. So I'd recommend it to many people to just, take that course or, 3, 4, 5 days of coaching. It just helps you so much to improve. Yeah. And it's especially fun when you're in a group because you're getting motivated by other riders that are maybe similar level to you, and you're seeing them improve. So that makes you want to improve as well. And it creates a nice group dynamic.
Love it. Yeah. It's cool. And if you listen to this on Spotify, by the way, you can't see the view that I've got behind me. Obviously, Sarah, you can, but sitting next to me right now is the video camera. Behind it is the tripod. My students this morning, the guys that I'm coaching on the clinic right now, I left them on the water for another hour practice after our session, set up to talk to you on the computer here, but actually then sat on the balcony there filming for the last 20 minutes before we met to do exactly what you're talking about there. Like I've got the footage here. We're going to have a look at it over a drink later on. Like seeing themselves on the camera and then getting that reward of like the light bulb moment. It's a really cool thing to get.
What would you say is your favorite part of the coaching?
It's when that spark happens in the student and you can recognize it. When you've been explaining something or trying to demonstrate and trying to get the moment that they realize what you're talking about, and suddenly the light bulb opens, the eyes kind of click, and then they do it just right. Yes, I see what he's talking about now. That's a good feeling, isn't it?
It's awesome.
You mentioned Karpathos, that's eastern Greece, down southeast. So it's on the Meltemi. That's the wind that comes down there. So it's a windy spot, right?
It's extremely windy. It's right below Rhodes, and we're exactly in that Meltemi stream. We work together with the Meltemi windsurfing school. And to be very, very honest, we've had days that people came off the water and they were like, they were struggling. They were on the water with like 3 threes. So it can be challenging, but even that is something that we try to teach them. Like, for example, the people that are always used to sailing 5-0s, all of a sudden they're on a 4-0 or even a 3-7, and that in itself is the challenge, Like maybe you cannot work on a specific maneuver, but you're sailing a completely different sail size. You're trying to you're getting challenged by completely different conditions, and all of that is part of windsurfing, and it makes you a better windsurfer.
Big time. And that links perfectly with your diversity idea of doing all the different disciplines and everything of, okay, it's not so windy, I need a 7 meter to get going, and I've never used a 7, or the reverse down to a 3-3 or something.
Yeah, the challenge is in that itself, like, using different gear, adapting to the conditions, and but that's one thing. So actually, it can get extremely windy, but that also means we have wind pretty much every single day, and the progress is just like that. And by the end of it, most people, like last year, we were giving out awards to the most determined riders out there, because they were all taping their hands because they were full of how do you say in English, a
blister on your hand,
blisters and stuff, but they were still getting out there and wanting to improve. So that was like really awesome to see how motivated they were.
Do you know what? This sounds cowboy, but my trick for blisters is washing up gloves, for the kitchen, and chop them off short on the wrist and chop holes on the end of every finger and thumb so the water drains. But for 1 or 2 euros, and they last a good week at least, like they work really well.
That's really good to know, because everyone's wearing gloves, but I'm not sure gloves necessarily help.
No, I don't think so. But the washing up glove, you look a bit silly. They're bright yellow, or maybe go for the pink ones. But it works really well. The students I've had here, like, okay, I thought you were joking, but it does work.
Yeah, I'll make sure to let them know.
So
Nice.
you've got the tour coming up. You've got the university later in the summer. What else is going on with Sarah? What's next for you?
Uh, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so for now I'm gonna be focused on competing because I've been home in the off season the last 3 months in Aruba. So yeah, sometimes it's necessary to like calm down as well because I tend to travel 8 to 10 months in the year as soon as the season starts, and I don't get to go home so much. So it's nice to calm down now. I feel like a bit more recharged and I'm ready to go. Having said that, like I have been competing for about, I think last year was like 20 years on since I started my first contest on tour. So it does make me think about what else to do or what am I gonna do in the future. So it is a good question that maybe I can't really even answer yet, but I feel like gradually doing more camps and still combining that with competition is the way to go for now. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a question I still need to figure out. I would
Do
say.
you obviously windsurf a lot? What other water sports are you into? You said swimming is what you grew up doing. Are you kiting a bit as well, or winging, or foiling? What other water sports do you love?
Yeah, I grew up. Well, I think I was lucky as a kid. My parents just put me on a bunch of sports just to see what I like the most. So, like any sport you can imagine, I have practically done it apart from team sports. Even tap dancing, I gave that a try. I wasn't too good at it. But yeah, eventually I stuck with swimming, tennis, and windsurfing. And it's something that I still carry with me now. Like I just love to be active and doing different sports. So I wouldn't even say that it's my hobby. Like it's kind of my lifestyle, like I windsurf all the time, but any other activity that I do involves doing some other sports. So I do kite surf a lot, especially since COVID. Like in COVID I had, with the lockdown, we had so many windy days and I just went windsurfing in the morning, kite surfing in the evening. And it's something that I really enjoy doing, especially kite wave. Then, doing
Cool.
a little bit more of wing foiling as well. I do like it, but I haven't been, you know how people, they're like completely, they fall in love with the sport completely. I don't know if you had that feeling with winging yet, but
I mean,
it's,
I like it, but it's
yeah,
not. I'm not sold on it 1,000%. Like you're saying, a lot of other people are, and I'm not sure
yeah.
why. There's something that's not quite connected. I'm not sure what it is yet.
Yeah, same. I think when I really do enjoy it is in the waves. I've spent some time in Brazil getting winging in the waves, and that's when you have this like really free feeling, like you can let go of the wing and actually cruise on the wave. And I
Yeah.
think that's an amazing feeling. But I do think that winging somehow is like this connecting sport, like between windsurfing and kite surfing. Somehow it's got wingers and kiters, sorry, windsurfers and kiters in that sport, which I
And
honestly,
paddleboarders a lot as well.
excuse me,
And a lot of paddleboarders are coming into wind sports, into winging from the board
is
sports. They're
it?
coming paddle direction too. Yeah, there's a lot of guys seem to be switching
Oh, I
paddling
didn't
to
realize
winging.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome as long as it gets more people on the water, and the fact that it makes less good conditions really fun. I think that's what I do like about winging. At home also, if there's some days that is like not great for windsurfing but also not kiting, then I think winging is the best option. So it kind of comes back to enjoying the conditions that you have with the toys that you have, I guess. And yeah, I feel like, I mean, I already do so many disciplines in windsurfing, but it's also refreshing after a kite session. Like I come back to windsurfing and I feel like I look at it in a completely different way, just because I've been kite surfing. So for me, it's really nice to switch it up, like between those sports as well, just to have like a fresh perspective on the water.
Yeah, I do think that's cool,
Yeah.
and it's all about doing as much as you can and having fun with it, And there's an old phrase I
Yeah.
keep thinking of, like whoever has the most toys wins. So you've got kites, you've got windsurf, you've got stand-up paddleboards, you've got wings. You can do whatever you want, whatever the conditions are. Heck, there's nothing going on. I've got a fishing boat. Let's go and have some fun on a boat or a wakeboard
Yeah.
boat or something else. And I often hear
Yeah.
about this sort of, or people perceive there's a split between kiters and windsurfers or skiers and snowboarders. And like, it's not the
Yeah.
case at all from what I see, but I hear it and I'm like, no, like I kite, I windsurf. It's fun to do it all. I think it's good to get stuck in.
Yeah, I mean, as a kite surfer and windsurfer, you can say that, but I've definitely lived through that and felt that, especially like in Aruba also, we had like a very clear divide between windsurfers and kite surfers. Like you could kite from the morning till 11, and then from 11 till 5, only windsurfing and then kiting again. And then slowly that became jumbled and kiters could get on the water all the time. And I remember there was like some moments of friction, but that slowly it's faded, and I think it is something that's in the past and it's getting better now. There's more and more people around me that are just practicing everything, and that's in the end that's what it's about, to just get on the water, I would say.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, and but having said that, I guess in the end windsurfing is a sport that challenges me the most. Like I do think it's a little bit harder than the other ones, and you spend so many hours practicing the same thing, and when you finally manage it, it's magic.
Yeah.
So it makes it all worth it. So I think in the end windsurfing is a sport that just like keeps me excited about everything the most.
Do you know what? A lot of people are going to be listening to this and can't see our faces at all, but that pause you had just before you said magic, that was the spark I was talking about that you get from the students when they click. Your eyes just
Right.
pop as you said that. Like I can see the passion coming through it, and I hope the guys listening can hear it from you as well. Like you're right. There's something right about windsurfing that just clicks this spark and this passion in people and makes them want to keep doing it. It's that sort of sport, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So if people are listening and they want to get involved with the Windsurfing University and hook up with you over in Karpathos, over in Eastern Greece, how can they do so?
So for Karpathos, we have like some spots left. If you want to sign up, you can email info@melktemi.eu, or you can send an email to windsurfuniversity@gmail.com. That way you get straight in contact with us. Our website is also windsurfuniversity.com, and there you get some information of the camps that we're going to have. So I was talking about Karpathos. That's in August. We're going to have another camp in Brazil as well. That's going to be in November, I think mid-November. But we have that on our website. And that's just we're just kind of building on that. We also just had one in Bonaire like a month ago. And hopefully for the upcoming year, I'm most likely we'll do it again. So we're slowly trying to expand the locations.
And funny how all these locations you don't need wetsuits for.
Funny enough, like neither of us really like the cold. I honestly wouldn't know how to function. That would be a challenge to do a camp in a colder place.
I mean, it's got to hit you when you start competing and the events make the cold waters. It's got to be harder for you. You're not used to it at all.
Yeah, I think the one event is in Germany, but I feel like my mindset switches. It's like, this is where I am now. This is what I got to deal with. I'm just going to do it. But if I don't have to get in the water, then I stay on land usually. I feel like that's one of my bad traits, unfortunately. I wish it was better, but I think I'm just spoiled. I'm from the Caribbean, right? So why put on a wetsuit if I don't have to?
Yeah, no, I'm with you completely. So all of those links and those emails, I'm going to make sure they're in the description of the video. So if you're watching this through the YouTube Ridealong channel with myself, Cookie, all the description, all those links are in the bottom of that just now. If you're on Spotify, I don't think I can add it on as a description. So you're going to have to link through, or of course, just rewind, 4 or 5 minutes, and you can hear exactly where Sarah put in those details just there. But Sarah, it's been great chatting to you today. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Starboard Podcast and the Ridealong YouTube channel. Best of luck in the competitions over the next 3.5 months traveling around.
Thank you so much, Cookie. Thank you for having me. Good luck also with the next podcast.
Thank you. We'll keep an eye on your Instagrams, all the social media feeds to see how things are going. But yeah, best of luck from us, everyone at Starboard and everyone listening as well. And maybe we'll catch up again at the end of the season with all the results and celebrating all the wins that I'm sure you're going to have.
Let's see. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay.